Hey, my name is Christoph, and welcome to the Third Eye Alliance official broadcast. We're joined here with Davie J. Tell the folks listening a little bit about the Third Eye Alliance, Davie.
Hi, Chris. Third Eye Alliance is basically a group of like-minded individuals who are all positive-minded, and we are interested in psychic phenomenon, the supernatural, UAPs, cryptozoology, conspiracy theories, as well as the weird and wonderful things that make our wonderful world experience unique.
And we're also looking to demystify everything about the, I guess, strange, unusual, mystical, and we're looking to invite you folks who are interested in these things onto the show as well, too. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Davie J, and why you decided to be one of the founding members of the Third Eye Alliance.
Well, it's something that I've always had a passion for as long as I can remember, just like you. And I've had my share of so many experiences that I'm sure will probably be coming out on this channel over time. And yeah, it's been quite the adventure. But yeah, I've always had a passion for it and had to start something because I was tired of my Matrix job.
And as well too, you have experience in various areas. You've done Reiki training and lots of other cool things. What are some of the other things that you've done and experienced?
Well, it was over 20 something years ago. Goodness, that was about 24. Yeah, it's been a while. Over 20 something years ago, I learned Reiki and eventually became third level master and teacher. I don't have an open practice doing it. But I do it for myself and for family and friends, of course. But it's also just led into other things that I've always, been interested in, or it just naturally leads to other things. Because once you open that little box up, you start finding all kinds of goodies, and you just don't want to stop researching. So.
What's some of the things that you've been kind of researching or, working on?
Well, I know one thing that has been a fascination for so many of us, as well as you in particular, is death. We have had so many experiences losing people we loved, as well as having strange experiences afterwards, whether it's like a dream where they visit or just a little sign from something. You're just in the middle of public streets and you see a little sign that reminds you of somebody. And it's like, does that mean they're with me?
And the thing is, like, everybody listening, have you had an experience with kind of, death? Probably all of us, but have you experienced something supernatural connected with death? I myself, especially when family members die in my family, I always usually have a dream about them about a week later. And the way these dreams work for me is I'll be in a dream and they will interrupt the dream like they're not supposed to be there. They'll walk in through a window like it's a door. It's like they don't understand the dream itself. And then I'll end up having a conversation with them, just like a normal conversation. And I'll be like, why are you interrupting my dream? And it ends up being, a surreal experience where you end up having a conversation, you get a bit of advice, they tell you that you're fine. And recently for me, just the past April, I lost two members of my family, and sure enough, less than a week after their death, I dreamed about both of them, and I was able to say goodbye. Now, how do you explain something like this? It's really hard to explain. What's your take on this, Davie?
I personally believe no one dies. We're never born. We never die. This is just a meat-covered skeleton skin suit that we exist in. It lets us function, lets us do things. But now this physical world it's no different from the other world. It's just they can't touch things so easily. That's the only real difference. You're a 30-foot ball of light walking around inside of a spacesuit, basically.
And I've always believed that everything is energy. We're just energy, like you were describing there. And energy never dies. They proved it with science. Like electricity just moves to a different form.
It's displaced only. It's never destroyed. It never goes away.
It's kind of like water in that way, how water gets
Mhm.
recycled. The same water we're drinking now, the same water we're peeing out, someone else is going to
Water
drink later.
and water is everywhere. It's in everything. It's in the air. It's inside of us. We are however much percentage of water. Was it 60 something percent? The earth is 60 something percent water. I swear it's all related.
It is. And years ago, I had this kind of theory and idea that, well, if nobody dies, let's say we don't die, do we continue our experience? And I always thought, and this was when I was young, I believed that when you died, your life didn't actually stop. Your life actually continued from the point of your death. And recently on social media, I saw somebody doing a post about a kind of scientific experiment where they were measuring the electricity in the brain. And apparently, the part of the brain that deals with memories, that's the last part of the brain to die. People talk about, experiencing your entire life, the flashing before your eyes upon your death. And if really the last part of your brain to die is that part of your brain that deals with memory, you could be having a whole life experience. It might not just be flashbacks of what happened. You may be living out the rest of your entire life within your own mind.
Hmm.
How do you feel about that?
That would actually, I think that almost would explain people with different forms of dementia. I mean, that's where they end up sitting while their body lives the rest of its life out, but in their mind, that's where they go. And because that's how you can kind of explain, I guess, why certain, say your grandmother thinks it's 1962 right now when it's when it's 2025. I have to get used to the year now too. I'm time traveling.
Why not?
But yeah, it's that's why I believe they don't realize that time has gone. Like you don't feel different. You don't notice it until you go look in the mirror and you realize, oh crap, I'm now much older. I still feel the exact same I did when I was 10, 12 years old. Mentally a little different, hopefully, but but yeah, you still feel the same. So
When I was a young boy, I had an experience with Alzheimer's, like not in my family, but a family friend. I used to visit their home, and they had an aunt in the family that actually had Alzheimer's. And every day I would go and hang out at their house. The aunt one day would think I was her son. The next day I was the neighbor kid. She would tell me, "Oh, you can't go to that part of the house. That's not our part of the house. Get off the lawn." And it was wild to see somebody with Alzheimer's kind of jumping around within their mind, and how much your reality is based on what your brain processes rather
mhm.
than what could actually you know be real. The problem though is that even the things that you experience, they get proven later as being real to other people. Alien abductions, for example,
Mhm.
that's one of those things that many people have the same experience. When people die, everybody describes seeing the tunnel of light and having, their life pass before their eyes. There's so many similarities in the way that we experience things that kind of confirms, you know, a lot of things to be true, even though there may not be scientific proof of it.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing the different things that they're now able to prove. I mean, science is basically proving spirituality exists. That's all science really does. And I believe personally that um, people who have studied uh, religion for so long know these things that science is only beginning to touch on. Um, Science will definitively prove certain things, but a lot of it is also based on theory, and then they have to try and prove it. But I, I'd say that with some religions, like for example, Hinduism is what 17,000 years old. They have knowledge that is astronomical compared to what modern science is even scratching the surface of. So for them to have that knowledge all that time and science is only catching up now, there's a lot more to it than what people realize, and what we've also not been shown or not taught.
Yeah,
And
lessons that haven't been passed down through the generations that
mhm,
perhaps should have been. Society's collapsing,
mhm,
and the knowledge of that society, being lost with time. Like all of these things could be the reason for it. There's maps that people have that show the Arctic, right? That
mhm.
and they didn't discover it till like hundreds of years later. But when they go back to older maps, they're really
It's there.
accurate. And like somebody must have gone and discovered that, and that knowledge was lost, and the only thing that was left over was the map. And it's
Yeah.
so interesting how all of these things kind of line up. Like Egypt, for example, right?
Hmm.
Was that built by man? Sure. You know, could
Hmm.
we do it now? Probably, but it, maybe there was more advanced knowledge of how certain things worked.
I would
Um,
say definitely there was a lot more advanced knowledge.
and they keep discovering more and more about it, which is interesting. You would think that after all, like how long has it been sitting there? How are there still secrets? How?
Yeah, well, the secrets are because they're probably being hidden. I mean, how much is in that vault in the Catholic Church down in the Vatican?
Well, they've
They,
they've been saying stuff like Nazi treasure, all sorts of stuff could be down there, relics that they don't want released to the public.
yeah.
Maybe it's technology. I remember hearing about some sort of device that you could like look back in time. Like they had a device that you could look back and take a look at history. I forget
Hmm.
what they called it, but that's
Yeah.
supposedly down there.
Hmm.
But it's like people fearing what the mass population knows and what are
Hmm.
capable of. And, I bet you there were empires that hid knowledge to stop their people from overthrowing them out of power.
Well, look at how the Library of Alexandria was burned. I mean, thousands and thousands of years of knowledge burned, gone. We'll never get it back.
Oh, and then whoever still had that knowledge, it died with them. Like
Hmm.
you can't fill out every single thing that was in every book. No one person has that kind of memory
No.
for detail. And you wonder like how many times do we rediscover the same things over and over again? Like just like when you're born and you're a baby and you're learning how to talk, you're experiencing
Hmm.
life. Like how many things as a species have we learned and lost and forgot and picked up again? And how many things still don't we know that we used to?
Hmm. Yeah, it's pretty wild how all that comes out eventually. And yeah, they thanks to the internet, things are coming out more and more, and the knowledge is now being shared. So when people do find these things, they'll upload it, and once it's on the internet, it's out there.
And that's the scary part about the internet and information is because once it's there, it's there. And whether you remember it that way or not, whoever
Yeah.
it is that put it there, if enough people say that that's the fact and reality. But you wonder, like, are people experiencing the same reality? Of course, we got the Mandela effect where people remember things
Hmm.
differently. Now,
Yeah.
are they remembering things differently because of memory issues, or are they remembering things differently because they came from another world or dimension? There's so many possibilities.
Jumping timelines.
And
Yeah.
that's something that I believe. I have experiences and memories
Same here.
that don't line up with what's going on right now. Majority of the Mandela effects I remember a different way.
Hmm.
I don't feel like my memory can be flawed to the level of the things that get noticed. One of the big things, and I was talking to you about this a little while ago. Scooby Doo, in Scooby Doo, Shaggy lost his Adam's apple.
That's right.
And
Yes.
I remember Shaggy's neck was crooked because of the Adam's apple. His neck kind of went like this in the cartoons.
And it would wiggle when he ate something.
Yes. And if you go back and watch the cartoons now, the only time he has an Adam's apple is when he gulps.
Hmm.
You don't see it. And I remember it being there. I remember it being a physical part, just like how his beard, he had an Adam's apple.
Hmm. Yeah, he
So
had the little soul patch. Yeah.
I remember when I was a kid watching Wacky Races, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Shaggy had an Adam's apple. It didn't happen, and now you go back, you look at all the material.
Mm-hmm.
And the weird part is you look up Shaggy, and it provided it's not original source material. If you look at somebody's personal drawing of Shaggy, they
Mm-hmm.
have Adam's apples.
Yeah.
You look at them making fun of Scooby-Doo on Family Guy, he has an Adam's apple. Like, how does a TV show or a person who's drawing a recreation of that, like, character
Mm-hmm.
miss something? How do you draw something that isn't there? Wouldn't you use the original material to reference? Like,
You would think so.
you're not going to draw it from memory, especially Family Guy. You're
Yeah.
not going to draw it from Family Guy's not going to draw it from memory. They're going to make their own rendition based on the original art, and they're going to take care with it. So it's kind of interesting, kind of how all that works. And I haven't seen anything about Shaggy's Adam's apple, but it was something that I noticed, and I talked to my wife about it, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
"You watch Scooby-Doo, right?" And she's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Shaggy has an Adam's apple or not an Adam's apple?" And
Mm-hmm.
she's like, "I remember him gulping and seeing an Adam's apple." And I'm like, "Okay, did he have it only when he was gulping, or did he have it all the time?" And
Yeah.
she's like, "All the time." And I, it's crazy what can happen. And is it actually changing? Like, the reason why this wasn't noticed before was because technology didn't exist to standardize,
Hmm.
information.
Yeah. Who knows?
I can remember Nelson Mandela, right? That said it right, right?
Mm-hmm.
I
Yep.
remember him being dead.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was a kid, I remember he was dead.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember people wearing T-shirts with his faces on it. Like,
I
people
remember
would
that too.
walk around and they had his face on a T-shirt. And it wasn't Free Mandela, okay? It wasn't that. It was, celebrating, not celebrating, but, like, building
Honoring him.
awareness for his death. Like, he was,
Mm-hmm.
somebody who fought and lost, against, I
Oppression.
guess, oppression. And,
Mm-hmm.
that's something that and people wore it as like a sign of pride. That's the word I was trying to get.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I can remember that, like, clear as day. And so it's wild kind of how your mind works. Now, if the brain is energy, electricity,
Mm-hmm.
can we jump from body to body in different forms and places? Is that what's going on with the Mandela effect? We're jumping dimensions or merging dimensions.
Jumping timelines. Yeah. Well, it's like in quantum physics, they are proving that there are infinite realities around us based on yes and no decisions we make throughout the day. So we are literally jumping timelines infinite times per day. Just even sitting in this chair, changing my thought pattern, I'm potentially jumping bodies. So according to science. So what you
And
can
people
see
would
on
compare
camera,
that to manifesting your reality. You put enough focus on something, you can make it happen. Are you actually making it happen, or are you jumping,
well,
realities?
We're jumping realities by becoming YouTube millionaires, just not today.
We're saying it right now.
Right now.
In episode 1.
Exactly.
That's going to be hard for us to do, I think. Mainly due to the fact that, kind of the principles of the Third Eye Alliance, being all about kind of being fair, being positive, believing people, rather than denying or tearing somebody down for their belief systems. Here on the Third Eye Alliance, we want to be supportive of people, everybody. And we want to give people the opportunity to come on the Third Eye Alliance as a guest, people who are intuitive, people that have knowledge, people who have skills, or maybe people just with great stories.
Yep.
Of things that have happened to their life and experiences.
Yeah, if you have a unique story or experience that you'd like to share with us, please feel free to call. Or not call, email.
You go to the website. That's what you do. And
don't
now's
call.
the cue.
I'm not putting my number out there.
Yeah, you find his number, you call him. Okay, but it's thirdeyealliance.com. That's our website. And on the website, there's information and about what we are and what we want to do with this podcast. And in turn, I guess the group that we're going to be creating through this podcast. And you have the ability on the website to sign up for the Third Eye Alliance for a chance to appear right here on our podcast. And we would be happy to have you, talk to you about what it is that you're doing, working on, talk about your experience, or even promote your business related to the topics that we talk about here on the podcast.
Absolutely. Yeah. We have hopefully in the next little while, we will have a bit more of a reach, but seeing that this is episode 1, we have no reach whatsoever.
But we still want to have discussions. And the exciting part about being on an early episode of a podcast is for years later,
yes.
People can reference, go back and watch. And, if you're on the first episode, trust us, people are going to watch this later. Okay. Yeah. People are going to watch this later.
Exactly.
I'm talking about kind of the Mandela Effect as well, too, kind of going to, what I was talking about earlier about kind of death and, death maybe not being the end. And the way I felt as a kid, I always felt like death, it's like if you died, you would wake up like nothing happened. And there's various points in my life where I could have died, but didn't die. As a child, I had an illness that could have killed me. It didn't. And I continued. There's parts of my life where I got into accidents and I could have died. Let's talk about your accident, Davie. That happened as we were thinking about creating the podcast. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I had an interesting experience. It was just one night on my way home from work, a little hungry for a breakfast sandwich at the local drive-thru, and cut through the military base just off the path of my work there. And it wasn't plowed or anything yet, and I had my 4-wheel drive Jeep, so I'm just trucking along, coming up to a T intersection, and I had to turn left or I had to turn right. There was no choice. Well, I hit the brakes and slid right almost into a telephone pole. I just saw a telephone pole coming at me. I cranked the wheel and just missed it. And when I slid off the road, I wasn't going fast, thankfully, but when I slid off the road, it almost didn't flip, but it just barely parked on its roof like that. Just
wow.
One little, and I parked it and got out with 2 little bruises on my knees and a little mark on my nose from my glasses and walked away.
A little shaken up, but like pretty much perfectly fine.
Coolest part for me was during the whole thing, I knew I was going to be okay. I just knew. I was like, oh shit, that's coming at me. Crank the wheel. Not going to happen. I aimed for the fluffy white cloud of snow, because when you're in or in a situation like that, you go where you look. So don't look at the big telephone pole. Mm-hmm. You look at the fluffy white cloud of snow and you aim for that. And that's what I did. So
now that could have easily have been a completely different way. That could have been an accident that got you really hurt, or maybe even fatal. And that makes you think, like, how close are we from death on any given day?
I'm sure there's an alternate timeline where I died just from that. So we're on a different timeline. The universe
did not want you dead there, Davie. It wanted you doing this podcast.
Yes, exactly.
Because we had started planning before the accident, and then I was talking to you right after the accident. Mm-hmm. And we were like, okay, well, let's do this and this. And then you're like, oh, yeah, by the way, I had an accident and almost died. And you were talking to me like it wasn't a thing. And I'm like, you nearly died in a car accident. Your car was totaled. Oh, I'm fine.
Yeah,
I'm fine.
Perfectly okay.
But it's like when you know, it's the most.
Just wasn't my time.
And that's it. But when is our time? You don't know. Some people live a really long time. Some people live a really short time. Mm-hmm. You can disappear at random.
Yeah. Well, one friend of mine at work, his wife a number of years ago had passed away, and he told me that about a week before she passed away, um, and she was always highly intuitive. So is he. He's like off the charts. He and I have fun talking about stuff at work. But she said she can normally see herself in the future. And she's like, this is strange. I don't see my future. And then 2, 3 days later, she threw a blood clot from her knee and died.
Wow.
So yeah, she saw no future for herself, which I thought was really fascinating when he told me that. So
That is
yeah,
wild.
yeah. So like I still get glimpses of the future for myself, like all the time.
Yeah.
So I know I'm going to be around for at least a little while. So
The weird part about me is I always feel like I'm in the future looking back.
I
Like
I know what
I
you mean.
always
Yeah.
feel like I'm here, but I'm also like somewhere else, like most of the time.
Hmm.
And just for the people that are listening, Davie J and I, we've known each other forever. So he's experienced what it's like with me when I'm not fully there. Like sometimes I'm like
Hmm.
on a higher thing,
It's
and when
fun.
we're focusing on like work, or it's like I don't think with my head and focus using my brain. It's like I go somewhere else, and
Hmm.
it's like I'm calculating things on like another level, but it's like my body is like
Your body's
just
a
like
tool.
it's like
Your
going
body's
with
a
the
tool.
flow.
That's it. That's called flow state consciousness.
Yeah.
Yeah, and our bodies are just tools. We're here to function and exist, but the real you is up there. So, because we are basically just fractals of God experiencing life through the eyeballs and earballs and whatever else we have. And when we're done this experience, we go back and we get to come back and do it again if we choose, or I don't know, maybe I'll go back to source next time. This planet's a little crazy, but
Well, that's the thing. And for people that don't know what source is, explain source to people.
the source is you. Source is God. Source is whatever you identify as God. That's what everything and everyone is made up of.
Yeah.
And they
And
actually
it's in
have.
lots of religions as well too. Like Buddhists describe it as like you're a drop of water. You drop out of the pond, you drop back into the pond when you die, and you become a part of the whole.
And you lose the monkey mind. It's called. That's what human mind is. The ego, the
Yeah.
monkey mind.
Yeah, the
So
lizard brain as well too.
lizard brain. Yeah. Yep.
Like I'm a huge believer in reincarnation, and that we're here on Earth not just once, many times, and
Infinite times if we want.
we're meant to learn and grow and evolve. There is a higher place, there is a heaven or whatever it is, but it's like you go there after you've achieved what it is that you're meant to do over. And I do past life tarot card readings through my business. Let's promote it. Yay. Fiverr.com/r
Mm.
Christoph. Shameless promotion, wherever that's
Yes.
appearing on your screen. But I do past life readings, and I have people come back over and over again. I could do 100 past life readings with you, and it'll be you won't ever duplicate it. There's hundreds or thousands of lives there, and every one that comes through for me is very, very different, but you may be trying to achieve similar goals within
Hmm.
those lifetimes. People talk a lot about their soul's journey or soul's purpose or soul's contract,
Hmm.
but it's like it's not just a contract for one lifetime. It's like,
Multiple.
multiple, like, and things that maybe you didn't achieve last time, you
Yep.
have to then try to do now. Um, yeah, I'm going to let you talk a little bit about it too.
Well, even Dolores Cannon spent decades researching this, and now her daughter has taken over, I believe, where her her legacy left off. And it's really fascinating the research she's done because through her past life, actually, it was just regression therapy. It wasn't even supposed to be past life with her, I don't believe. Her clients just happened with hypnotherapy to fall backwards into past lives. And then so many of them started having similar stories, and they did not know each other. So it just made her research all that more fascinating. And it has come out in her research that I believe when I was watching one of her videos online where she was talking about how we are basically just here for the experience. And then as we expand consciousness, we go back and then we come back and just do it again. And um, oh goodness, there's so many thousands of videos on what she has done. You can research for yourself if you're really curious about it, but the past life connection is very real. I mean, people have so many of those different things, and they don't even realize what it is. Like, I personally have had, I believe, past life dream when I was 4 years old. I still remember it. And there's no way you can remember a dream from that long ago if it's just a dream. Where I personally felt like I was walking around. I was maybe late 20s in the 1960s or early 70s. I saw myself in desert environment, so I'm guessing California, hitchhiking on like a 2-lane road, and I get hit by somebody in a car. I still remember the car. It's called a Myers Manx. If anybody's curious what it
The
looked
level
like,
of detail is insane.
I know. And I was wearing a Janis Joplin t-shirt and bell-bottom jeans and carrying a jean jacket. But the dude hit me and left me on the side of the road, and I died. I remember it, and the crazy part is, in this lifetime, the left side of my body is the side that kind of bugs me, and that's the side I got hit on in this dream.
That's wild. So it could have been maybe even the last lifetime, who knows?
Yeah.
And the interesting thing, I find that past lives aren't in order either. Like doing the readings, I learned a lot from doing readings with people. I get a lot of things confirmed with me in my own beliefs because other people share the exact same ideas. And I'm like, I thought I was the only one that believed that. But in past lives, they can happen in any order. And I feel like that when you go to wherever it is you go when you die, you get I feel like there's like a choice involved. I almost feel like you can choose the time. You can, I don't think there's an infinite selection, but I feel like that there's choices involved. So you may have very well chosen this lifetime specifically. And there could be many reasons why. So this person that you've been talking about, where can people find out more information about it and do some research on it for themselves?
Well, you can find everything at dolorescannon.com. Loads of information on there. They talk about the quantum healing hypnosis technique, which I believe she developed, and it is quite fascinating. There's so many different techniques to it and parts to it. I'm looking at their website going, wow. Even including part 8, UFO extraterrestrials and life on other planets. Like, that's another thing that she discussed quite frequently, is people would have past life memories on other planets.
As I believe that.
Yeah, I don't feel like I come from here. I mean, I was born here, but
I don't think you come from here either, Davie.
No. And I'm proud of it.
Oh man, so am I. I've never thought my brain has never worked like typical human beings, to be honest with you. Not that I'm a lizard person or anything, because I'm not a lizard person. And here's where somebody edits in my eyes blinking like a lizard. Okay. But yeah, my thought process has never been, it's like I'm picking up completely different information than other people. Like, people base stuff on the way you look, the words that you say. It was almost like when I talked to people, I was seeing beyond their words.
That's because ego is involved when people look and judge. When there's no ego, you don't judge.
I guess that's true. I don't know if I have no ego. But
ego has a job. Ego is there. Its job is to protect. That's why we, in the ego, are looking for, oh, this person said this person did that, and that's ego going nitpick.
Yeah, I don't care about any of that stuff.
Well, the job of the ego is to look for danger, and when you don't have danger, it's still looking. So it's looking in places it doesn't need to.
I've never been afraid of very much my whole life. It's kind of weird. It's just like you in your accident. I always felt safe. I always felt like
knew you were going to be okay.
And you know me, and my life. I take huge risks all the time with a whole bunch of different things, and things just seem to work out. Mm-hmm. I make decisions that other people would be like, well, your life is going to be destroyed if you do that, and and I get through it fine.
And it always works out.
And it just feels right. Like it's when I'm following my instincts, even if the decision that I need to make is ridiculous, as long as my instincts are saying, you got to do this. And one of the biggest mistakes I think I've made in my life is not listening to my instincts every time. Like,
Every time.
if I don't listen and I'm talking about intuition here, which it's a bit beyond normal instincts, but if I don't listen to my intuition, things go bad. And, and I've had numerous things that should have, destroyed me, should have messed things up. And I come through it somehow. In my life, little things, I get blamed for little things,
Mm-hmm.
but every time I take a big chance at something, it usually works, or
Mm-hmm.
people don't remember it at all. One of those two things.
and that could be a good thing too.
It's still good. It's a win if nobody remembers the horrible tragedy.
There's a reason for everything.
Yeah. The same thing, like when I got into doing tarot readings on Fiverr, it was kind of tail end of COVID, but it was me living in my condo with my wife for ever, not going outside, and I had managed to get a job working for a virtual company, a really great job, and then I wanted to quit, and my instincts were telling me quit. And I
Mm-hmm.
had started doing the tarot reading on Fiverr, and about the time that I quit that job, Fiverr became strong enough that I was able to live off of what I was doing there. Of course, if anybody's interested in getting a reading with me, there's another shameless plug. I'm happy to do a reading for you. And when you do a reading with me on Fiverr, it's about helping you. It's not about hurting you. It's not about doing anything to cheat or take advantage. And that's one of the things, like doing these readings, I really dislike the people who have low standards, that are just doing things for money, that are trying to cheat. And that's another thing. A part of the Third Eye Alliance, we have almost like a code of conduct that we ask everybody who joins to follow. Tell people a little bit about this code of conduct, Davie.
Basically, it's just do good, help people. Don't send bad juju out there. Nobody needs that. Yeah, that's pretty much what it boils down to. Just be a good person, damn it. Be the best version of yourself that you can
help
be.
people. Do it because you want to help people.
And because you want to be the best version of yourself that you can be.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
If you have to do something negative to feel good about yourself,
yeah, that's
there's a
direction.
Problem. There's a deeper issue there.
Mm-hmm. Go get help.
Deeper. You don't have to hurt other people. We're here to help each other. We're not here to really tear each other down. And you see this in so many different communities online. Various social media followings. There's always those people, call them trolls, right? There's always those people that want to tear down, and a lot of time it's because those people are in pain. Mm-hmm. Because of things that are going on in their own life, and they're upset or jealous or sad that somebody else is doing something that either they can't or they don't want, right?
Or they're upset that something didn't happen that they wanted to happen.
Exactly. Yeah. And you know what I say for that? If you want something to happen, you go out and you make it happen. Yeah. And my whole life has been that. I want to do something, I just do it.
Yeah. And also remember, rejection is protection. I mean, that's the universe protecting you from something you didn't need in your life. So
yeah, especially if there's somebody who's just, you can tell they're bad, you know, especially with relationships, right? If you find that people are ghosting you, they don't communicate with you, if they just want something from you, right? They're just your friend to take something and they're never there when you need them.
Mm-hmm. Let them go.
Let that energy go. And it's hard. Yeah. It's hard to let energy like that go. But as soon as you identify that someone is not somebody is not helpful, somebody is not good energy for you,
and they're just going to drain you. That's not good.
And pay attention to your emotions and how people make you feel. You're always going to feel good about the right people, right? The people that make you feel upset, that hurt you, these are the ones that,
if you feel drained after being around somebody, guess what? you don't need to be around that person.
Yeah, that person
Or,
could be an emotional vampire, you know?
yep. Or just maybe they need that help to figure out that the energy doesn't come from other people, it comes from within. Just you can learn to tap into your own stuff, and that's when life starts to change for you.
Absolutely. When you start following your own intuition, instincts, when you start doing the things that make you feel good,
Mm-hmm.
good about yourself, good to help people.
Mm-hmm.
And that was always a weird thing with me, even earlier in my career before I started doing tarot readings or really opening up about
Mm-hmm.
what I'm doing. Even when in my previous career, everything that I did was kind of focused on like helping people or helping people get positive exposure. And we're doing it now through this podcast, I guess, all over again.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully this one does well and we can help some wonderful people with this. So.
And once again, if you guys want to be on the Third Eye Alliance official podcast, all you have to do is go to, thirdeyalliance.com. There's a form that you can fill out to become a member of the Third Eye Alliance. And if we like your story or ability or your experience, your life, your abilities, we'd be happy to have you a guest on our show, and we can talk more about your experiences, your abilities, and it could be about anything.
Mm-hmm.
Anything. Ghosts, alien abductions, Bigfoot,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the stuff that we talked about, past life energy,
near-death
intuitive readings.
experiences.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And we're open, and we believe you. We believe you, and it's about kind of opening up the door to this, and we want to demystify all of these things. We want to put the information out there, and we're not just doing this for us, we're doing it for you and everybody else that may not have knowledge of these things yet.
Mm-hmm. And know that you are not alone in this weirdness, because there's a lot of weird shit happening out there.
Yeah. Doing readings, meeting people like, Davie J, it's like you find those people and you're like, okay, he's one of my people. He believes a lot of the same things that I do. He understands the energy that I'm picking up on, and know that we're here for you. I can't wait to talk to all of you and listen to your stories, talk about your abilities, and help you to promote all the things that you're doing to help people.
That was well said. Yeah. Absolutely.
And I guess that's it.
Yeah,
for this episode. That's kind of a nice way to stop here, of course. My name is Christoph. This is Davie J.
That's me.
What do you have to say? What do you have to say, Davie, to end the show?
Stay crazy. It's all good. Don't worry about it.
Stay crazy. It's all good. Thanks, Davie J. Let's play the, I guess, intro or whatever. Here we go. Stay crazy.
Stay crazy.
That's the message we want to tell people. I feel crazy.
Yeah.
Some days I feel really crazy. I was going to say effing crazy, but maybe we'll put this at the end of the podcast anyway.
Stay crazy. Have fun.
Yeah. It's about enjoying life and having experiences.